My name's Ming Richardson, the compliance manager for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name's Alan Rich. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners, and this is our real estate backstory. And like she said, we normally start on Mondays, but we're starting off the year on Tuesday, so we're kind of getting rolling today. We want to jump in and talk about a couple of different things. We're going to start off with two myths and a truth that we need to be ready to kind of address.
You gonna bust a myth?
I'm going to be a myth buster this
Okay.
morning. So first one is, and maybe it's not so much of a myth, but like there's a new study out that just came out and said that for new construction, the number one new construction in demand home plan is a ranch. And I completely agree. That is the most desirable floor plan right now. However, there's a big reality that has to kind of come into play for the vast majority of our buyers and just for buyers in general, right? They may want a ranch, and we do have an aging population that will that definitely wants to take advantage of the benefits of having a ranch. However, they're much more expensive to build,
Correct.
and then the reality kicks in of I can have a 12, 13, 1,400 square foot ranch, or I can have a 2,200 square foot
Two
two
story.
story for about the same price. And so that's where, and we have to be ready to kind of, have a conversation with our clients, especially around ranches, because we've had quite a few lately where, and we see the demand for ranches are really, really high. However, your price per square foot, the overall cost to build a ranch is so much more expensive. And a lot of people just don't understand that. Like on a two-story home, you only have concrete over half of it.
A small
Yeah,
pad.
as opposed to ranch, you have concrete over the whole thing.
No,
You know,
that your electrical and plumbing runs much
it's shorter.
more
Yeah.
for ranch than a two-story home.
Yeah, normally the second story gets about half the cost of what the first story is just to build it. And that's why we're seeing more homes that are even three-story now. We're seeing a lot of three-story homes also coming out with really large square footages. So on one hand, yes, I do agree that there is a big demand for ranches. I think resale ranches are, but don't look for any bargains there. That's the bargains are not in the ranch area. So for clients who do want them, understand that you want to be a good advisor to them. Look, you got to be ready. It's going to cost you a little bit more money. Because I could have actually shared my screen here to begin with. All right. So the other thing here is our next myth is that, and you may see this out here because I did want to share this with you, is that there's a lot of news articles, information out there saying buyer activity has bottomed. Buyer activity has bottomed out. Things have bottomed out, bottom out, and so
It's not, it's the overall adage of affordability.
well, it's not just that. But our problem is that most of your real estate data is about 3 months behind. By the time that, and I don't care, NAR, Fannie, Freddie, all the big companies kind of thing. I mean, the folks who aggregate all this data, what they're releasing is they're releasing November's numbers, and we're in January right now. And I can promise you that the market that we're in right now is not the same market that we were in January. I mean,
October,
in October and November.
right,
Yeah, November was still down, and so the overall, at that point, interest rates had hit 8%,
correct.
and so now we're in the mid to low sixes.
You wish.
Yeah, wish, yeah, that'd be really great. So we've seen interest rates drop by about a point and a half just in the last 7 weeks or so, kind of
Correct.
thing. And so what I don't want you to do is get tied up into this. You know what? The market is slow. You know what? The buyers aren't here right now. You know what? Wrong. Like we're already seeing our transaction counts are up. We're seeing a lot more activity going on in the marketplace. Our normal buying season starts yesterday or
Correct.
today, right? And it normally takes a couple of months for us to take the clients who start into the buying process on the beginning in early January. It's going to take a couple of months for those folks to find homes and get through the due diligence and inspections and all that. That's why we normally see our first big bump happens in March and April kind of thing, because it takes a few months to kind of get going. But the buyer activity is now. So please don't don't read these headlines and think, wow,
The sky's falling.
yeah, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to wait. We're going to go do this kind of thing. Like now's the time to be reaching out, engaging with your database, talking to your clients, talking about what's really going on in the marketplace and what's really happening out there because it's really important for us.
And just remember, if you start with the word "I can't," now the bottom line is you probably won't.
Yeah.
So if you start with word "I will," "I am," then you might have better success in setting your mindset towards success.
You will.
You
Have
will.
better
Sorry,
success.
not my.
Yeah, come on now. Take your own advice.
There we go.
All right. Now, the other thing here, and this is in the truth, U.S. property tax revenue has shot through the roof. Okay. And so overall, property tax values are almost 12%.
Mhm.
So now there is a good opportunity to engage with sellers right now, to talk to the sellers, to provide sellers with some comps to use. Like if there's probably ever a time to really look at your values compared to your tax records, that kind of stuff, it's really right now. The
That's
jump was
correct.
so significant kind of across the board, across the United States. This is not just
Everybody
a
felt
Georgia
it.
thing. Everybody's feeling it right now. And even though nobody wants to raise taxes, they can raise property values, which in turn raises taxes. So, there are some times when there is going to be a real good opportunity to look at
Correct.
property values as well as how that applies to your tax values and that kind of thing. So there's some recent information out from Realtor.com, and they showed a very interesting statistic, which is really not that surprising when you really get down to it, because what it is that home buyers with flexible schedules are less interested in being in their local markets. And so here in Georgia, especially, we've seen where the average move in Georgia was over 100 miles from the place where they sold to the place where they bought.
Right.
Is about 100 miles. And but here's where the big tell is: if you still have to go to work and you have to show up in an office, you're not nearly as flexible.
Correct.
So some of the initial conversations that we really need to be having with our clients right up front is what? Where do you work? Are you able to be flexible? That kind of stuff. Because what we're seeing is, because right now value is a very important aspect, right? How much home they can afford. And we're seeing where folks, if they don't have to work, if they don't have to go into work as often or at all, they're willing to move farther out to get better value. They're willing to
Correct.
go out into other areas because I can go buy a 1,500 square foot condo in downtown Atlanta, or I can buy a 4-bedroom home out in the burbs for just about the same price. We're seeing where a lot of folks are willing to do that if they have flexible work schedules. So we've got to be making sure that we start off understanding do you have a flexible work schedule? Are you interested in looking at other areas, that kind of stuff, because that can help us help to position us as a true advisor and guide for our folks.
For that dream home.
Yeah. All right. Interest rates. So overall, primary mortgage market survey came in at 6.61, which is great news. We actually saw some FHAs come through this past week at 6.25 and 6.2 just this past week.
And just remember, credit matters.
Oh, and that, but she's exactly right. Credit is such a big deal right now because the difference between a 6.8 and a 6.2, you get 0.5% there, over 0.5%. That adds
based
up
on your
so
credit
fast,
Yep.
right? So we are seeing interest rates continuing to soften. I do think that we are going to be continuing to move a little bit lower moving into the year. I don't see us having massive declines like we've been having, but like they dropped 6/100ths of a point this past week. I see us kind of moving in that same kind of range. So it is very nice to see that interest rates are moving in the way that it's going to be very beneficial. So one other thing that recently came out of a Zillow study is that consumers who are made aware and are aware of what's going on with interest rates are much more likely to actually be engaging in the home buying and selling process. So the fact of us talking about interest rates, even though we may not be the ones who rate the loans, we're not going to help our clients get a mortgage. Just being able to provide that information is really, really important for us.
Absolutely.
Now, one thing that we've been getting a lot of questions about is what do we need to have, or what do my clients need to have for loan docs? You know, a lot of times we just hear loan docs, and even that sometimes what like it confuses our clients. And so we kind of wanted to run down with you really quickly, what do your clients truly need to have if they're going to buy a home? And so first thing you have to do is they have to verify their identity and their income. So a driver's license or some sort of government ID on there. They're going to need W-2s from the last 2 years. They're going to need their taxes for the last 2 years. And then they're going to need 30 days of their most recent pay stubs. Now, if there's self-employed or if they're retired, there are different consequences on there, but basic for the vast majority of our clients, of our buyers, that's what they need. When it comes to their personal assets, they're going to have to provide bank statements for all accounts. This should probably be in highlight because a lot of times our clients just, well, I gave them my checking account. It's your savings
Your
account,
money
it's everything.
market, your investment,
Yeah.
401k, because the better you show yourself as financially stable to the lender, the better you'll have in the interest rate. And sometimes the lender may strategically advise you how to do certain things to improve your loan. So it is important for you to include all your personal assets.
Yeah. But then other than that, for buying a property, if you don't own property right now, the buyers just need to get an insurance quote or information for an insurance agent to be able to put that in there. Now, if they do own property, then they have to provide more additional documents if they do own property, such as a property tax bill and homeowners insurance declaration
Mhm.
page, any HOA documents. But that's only if they own a property. For the vast majority of our buyers, especially our first-time buyers, they need identity and income documents and put in their personal assets, identity, income, and assets. That's what they have to put out there. Some folks will say, well, why is it any of their business? Because they're loaning you a buttload of money is really what it is. And so no one, I mean,
They only get into it in order to secure their loan. So it's like, would you lend someone money from your personal account if you don't know who they are and what kind of risk that you're taking? So same thing.
yeah, and so like in our CE classes coming up this month and just in our offices, we're going to be putting out these loan documents checklists just so agents have them. This is a really good thing to share with your clients when you're
Mhm.
talking to them. Say, hey, this is my lender. These are what the lender is going to be looking for you.
Correct.
Just let's go ahead and get these things together. Again, we're not trying to get into their tax, I mean, into their personal details. We're not trying to see their credit score and that kind of stuff. But this is very useful agent information that agents need to be able to share with their clients. So please stop in our offices, get that. It's something that can really assist you on there.
Absolutely.
All right. So at the same time, builder sentiment is rising on falling interest rates. As the interest rates come down, the builders are getting more and more feeling a lot more bullish. And so that really is really great. But why is it so great for Georgia? Well, it's great for Georgia because we are the fifth largest area with new construction. So Dallas and Houston, Texas, the first three are all in Texas, then Arizona, and then Atlanta comes
Atlanta.
in at number five. So we have the fifth most largest number of new construction properties in the nation. And so that puts us in a very interesting place, and especially for real estate professionals, like do we have to be competent at representing our buyers in the new construction process?
Absolutely.
You really do. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not like going out and learn how to speak Chinese, but you do have to understand the
That
differences.
might take a little bit longer.
A little bit, yeah. So is it a little bit more complicated? I don't think it's necessarily more complicated, but you do have to know what's going on. In most cases, will your clients have to use the builder's lender? Maybe not have to, but should they use the builder's lender?
The incentive is much greater,
Yeah.
but make sure that incentive doesn't cost you money in the long run. What I mean by points, what your interest rate may be a little higher with the builder's lender than with another lender that may be outside the builder's
Well, the only thing to consider there
recommendation.
is then the buyer's earnest money may be at risk, and they
Mhm.
may not be able to get any closing costs, and they may not get any upgrades. So these are what we mean when we say you have to be prepared to work inside this new construction space. The builders are feeling a lot more optimistic. We see more and more new construction neighborhoods. Yes, a lot of them are townhomes, but we also see a lot of single families going up right
Correct.
now as well. And we want to be able, we want to be positioned to represent our clients for their best interest going through these transactions. Now, when it comes to actually buying, especially like when it comes to
Colors.
colors, right? What is the most popular exterior color? So,
Light
light gray,
gray.
beige tan, black and white. And this has been a debate between my wife and I, because our house has always been black and white. And she's
We had
like,
a Cape Cod. It's white with black trimming.
yeah,
So
which is exactly what it should be. So anyway, I, I digress. Anyway, least appealing, pink,
pink,
yellow,
yellow,
and black.
black.
Please don't paint a black house. I mean that's
That's
super dark and it's so hard. It shows so much dirt. Now, how
not
about
only that, you in Georgia, your cooling bill is probably going to be much higher with that
yeah,
dark color.
yeah. Now, here on the inside, what's the number one most appealing paint color on the inside?
Off white.
Off white. That's actually a move, a move because it has been that light gray or grayish, gray and beige
Mhm.
color. Those have been more popular, but now we're seeing more and more off whites, and so that's kind of interesting. Least pink, black, and deep purple. I don't
Any
even
bold
know.
colors.
Yeah, they're really bold colors. Plus, buyers see a purple room. The first thing they're thinking is, how many coats of primer and paint is it going to take to cover this, right? Now, what do our buyers want? What is the most important design features? Like what excites buyers? One, updated kitchens, two, updated bathrooms, and three, new flooring.
Yep.
So, I know it's on not on there, but paint is also really, really high out there. And so when talking to our clients, the reason that this is an important conversation for us to have is when talking to our clients, it's going to be like should I make repairs? Well, what do our buyers want? They want kitchens, bathrooms, and new flooring. We may not be able to get all the value out of a bathroom and a kitchen though, but it will increase the saleability of it, those kind of things. So we have to be ready to have those kind of conversations and understand what the buyers are looking for so we can advise our sellers about that.
Absolutely.
So now overall, our median sale price is running up 4.5% over year because and this is an important factor for our buyers. Now this may seem odd, like why would buyers want to see sales prices move up?
They want to make sure they're not buying the house at the top of its peak and then lose equity as soon as they move in.
Well, who wants to buy a house and then think, oh well, I'm going to lose money, right? And so like this is from S&P CoreLogic. This is what's happened over the last 10 years. Just the last 10-year span. What's happened with property values? A 7% return.
Mhm.
7% for the last 10 years. So that means that's a 70% return for the last 10 years. And now average is about 4.5% for the last 50, but for the last 10 years, it's been really good times, right?
It has been.
We've had
I
really
mean, a
nice
lot
property
of us who
appreciation.
sold during during the
Yeah.
pandemic time, we have seen our value double from what we purchased it for. So
And like if you look at and so this is just from FHA. These are only homes that have an FHA mortgage, and you can see that since 1991, the average property value appreciation was 4.5%. Since 2000, 4.8%, and since 2012, again,
7.5.
7.5%. So property values like there sometimes there's hiccups along the way. We know that there always is. However, long term, what's a really great investment? Real
Even if you
estate.
look at the graph back in '08 when the market started crash, if you look at the graph on that, as of April, well, actually February of 15, we recruit that value
Yeah.
between 15, 16. So even you may have taken a downward turn during that time, but now, I mean, look at that, that's twice.
Well, I mean, we look back and man, would I not have loved to have bought more
Mm-hmm.
property at the height of the
Absolutely.
market? I mean, I don't mean at the downturn. I mean, like even if I could have bought more property at the height of the market, where would we be now? We'd be
Still almost
amazing, right?
twice.
Yeah,
Almost
so good.
twice.
So now overall, pending sales are down about 4% from last year. This number gets smaller every week. We track this number, and every week this number gets a little bit closer, a little bit closer. And really soon we're gonna be over last year, and we're gonna be
Mhm.
over last year really significantly. And this is what we were just
I do
talking about.
believe in January and February, because the interest rate has dropped, you'll see more activities and more pending sales. So,
Yeah, yeah, we should be up over last year really, really soon, and then I think we're going to be heading into a really strong spring and summer session here. So new listings of homes also up about 12%. That's great because we have lowering interest rates in
mhm,
and inventories increasing. Active listings are totally, total listings are still down 4%, but this is another number that's been slowly moving back to being much more normal. So lowering interest rates, raising inventory makes it a great time for our
mhm.
buyers right now. At the same time, in the apartment world, the construction boom has really changed things going on. This is what's kind of been going on with overall units started and units complete. You can see that it's been shooting up. Now, it has recently dropped off, but because so many of them have been building for the past 10 years kind of thing,
Right.
well, this is what's happened to vacancy rates, especially in the last year. Vacancy rates are shooting up. And when you have
Higher vacancy,
higher vacancy and more apartments, what happens?
the rent drops.
Asking rents have shown its biggest decline in 3 years. Now, I don't say this because, I mean, do we want folks to be renters?
No,
No, no. But
you can't build wealth ever.
right.
Once again, the interest rate for renting is 100%.
But if you but where does the biggest piece of down payment come from for our buyers? Savings.
Savings from rental
And
rates.
so if they can spend less in on their rental, that's going to help position them faster to be able to afford the down payment to be able to get into a home for themselves. So, don't forget your Max One swag at maxonemarket.com. Also, we are everywhere. You can catch our podcast. We're on Apple Podcast, Apple, Amazon Music, realestatebackstory.com,
There's a
everything
lot.
everywhere.
So if you're busy,
Yep.
you can't sit still, you can always listen
Catch
to
us
us
other
on
places.
audio.
Yep.
Correct.
Now, Wednesday tomorrow we have Matrix Basics. That's going to be in our Fayetteville office. That is going to be covering, all the basics. And this is the reason we started this is these are great core classes that agents for skills agents need to have. So we start off with Matrix
Basics
Thank you. Take over.
in Fayetteville office. And then Thursday, Georgia MLS products and services. Just so you know, Georgia MLS is retiring Paragon. So my recommendations for you to see what they have.
Yep.
So that way you can stay informed in your industry and know how to operate and not get caught at the last minute not knowing how to operate the software system.
Yep. So hope you guys have a great week and a great happy new year.
Happy New Year's.
So let's start this thing off the right way. Don't listen to the negative news.
No,
Get
and
out
if you
there.
haven't done your business planning, please do it now while you have some moment and just so you can start your year correct and on the right feet.
All right, have a great week, everybody. Love y'all.
Mhm.
Bye bye.
Bye.